Skip this video, and something in you will know it made a mistake. Not because this message holds power over you, not because anything outside of you can force a shift, but because there are moments when a certain kind of silence arrives, and inside that silence, something you have been carrying for a very long time begins to stir. You have felt it before, that strange heaviness that appears without warning. That sense of watching your own life from a distance, as if the person living it is familiar, but somehow not fully you. That quiet exhaustion that has nothing to do with sleep, and everything to do with how long you have been seeing yourself through a lens you did not choose. And here is what makes you different from most people who would have already clicked away. You have never been able to live entirely unconsciously. Others could inherit a way of seeing themselves and never question it. Something in you kept questioning. Something in you kept sensing that the automatic version of your life was not the only version available. That underneath the reactions, the loops, the familiar disappointments, there was something else waiting to be recognized. That is why you are here. Before this video ends, you will encounter 3 layers of observation, 3 revelations that do not ask you to believe anything new, but to see something that has always been true. The first is how you have been observing the world. The second is the identity through which you have been observing yourself. The third is something deeper, the observation most people never reach because they leave before they realize who has been looking through their eyes all along. Stay with this, not because leaving would be wrong, but because you already sense that what is unfolding here is meeting you at exactly the right moment. Think about the last time someone went quiet around you and your body immediately assumed it meant something was wrong. Think about the last time an opportunity appeared, and before you could reach for it, something inside you had already decided it was not for you. Think about the last time someone offered you kindness, genuine kindness, and instead of receiving it, some part of you started searching for what was hidden behind it. Think about the last time you began something new, and the voice that rose up first was not excitement, but a familiar warning. This will not work. This is not who you are. This is not how your story goes. Those moments are not random. They are not proof that you are broken or behind or cursed. They are something far more specific. They are evidence that you have been observing your present life through a past identity, and that identity, however protective it once was, has been quietly deciding what is possible for you before you even have a chance to look. This is the thing most people never examine, not because they are unwilling, but because no one told them that the lens matters as much as what the lens is pointed at. If this is landing somewhere real in you, comment right now with the word observing, not as a ritual, as a marker, a signal to yourself that something in this moment is worth pausing for. In certain frameworks of quantum physics, a pattern has been observed that changed the way scientists think about reality. What is being measured seems deeply connected to how it appears. The act of observation is not passive, it participates in what emerges. Now, honest thought requires us to hold this as a symbolic metaphor rather than a literal command over outcomes. Awareness does not control every circumstance. The world is complex. Humans are not machines, but the symbolic weight of this is enormous. Because if observation participates in what appears at the smallest measurable levels of reality, what might that suggest about the quality of attention you bring to your own life? What might it suggest about the meanings you assign to failure? To love offered without condition, to the version of yourself through which you are currently meeting everything? That question is where this begins. For most of your life, you were taught that observation is something that happens after reality. The world appears, you see it, you respond. Event first, reaction second, identity third. This sequence feels natural because almost everyone around you has lived inside it. Something happens. You feel what you feel. You become what you have always been. But this sequence is incomplete because before you respond to what happens, you observe it. And before you observe it through something, through memory, through old conclusions, through experiences that taught you what safety meant, what love required, what success was allowed to look like for someone like you. Through 100 invisible agreements you made in moments of pain that you may have never consciously revisited. Your observation is not the last step. It is one of the first. And everything that follows, the emotion, the decision, the behavior, the pattern, the identity, the life you keep rehearsing, begins there. That is the first revelation. Imagine someone who received affection as a child, but only when they performed, only when they were good enough, quiet enough, impressive enough. Over time, that person learned to observe love through a particular lens. Love is conditional. Love must be earned. If I am not enough, love leaves. This was not chosen. It was learned. It was the only interpretation available at the time. Now imagine that same person as an adult, entering a relationship where someone loves them without condition. The old lens is still active, so when a partner goes quiet, the nervous system reads rejection. When someone offers love freely, the mind searches for the catch. When peace appears, the body becomes suspicious, because the old self was never trained to trust peace. It was trained to earn it. This is not weakness. This is the mechanism. And here is what makes it difficult. The person living inside this pattern does not experience it as a pattern. They experience it as reality. They call it intuition. They call it knowing how things work. They do not realize that what they are calling reality is actually recognition. The past being recognized in the present, whether it is actually there or not. Read that again inside yourself. The past being recognized in the present, whether it is actually there or not. That quiet loop is running in almost every area of life where things feel stuck. In relationships where the same wound keeps appearing in different faces, in careers where the same moment of almost but not quite keeps repeating. In the inner life where the same conversation plays out in different rooms. It is not the world that keeps arranging these repetitions. It is the lens, the old eyes through which the present keeps being seen. There is a presence in you that is not identical to your thoughts. There is an awareness in you that can notice fear without being fear. There is something that can witness the thought, I am not enough, without becoming it, without obeying it, without granting it the final word. That awareness is not something you need to create. It is already present. It has always been present. It is the part of you that noticed the pattern in the first place. It is the part that felt the gap between who you are performing and who you sense yourself to be. It is the part that brought you here today, not to be entertained, but to be seen in a way that changes something. That is the observer. And the observer is not trapped by the identity it observes. Most people miss this turn. They work on the thoughts. They work on the behaviors. They try to change the outcomes, but they do not step back far enough to notice the self that is generating all of it. They do not ask, from which self am I observing this? That question is worth writing down somewhere you will see it again. Before you answer a message that triggered you, before you make a decision from fear, before you shrink in a room where you deserve to take up space, before you dismiss an opportunity because the old self already decided it was not for you, ask that question, then wait, not for an answer from the thinking mind, wait for the pause. Wait for the small space that opens between the stimulus and the story. In that space, the observer is present, and the observer has access to something the old identity does not. The recognition that the first interpretation is not always the true one. You are not required to believe your first reaction. That is the first layer. That is the first transformation. If something in that sentence reached a real place in you, like this video now, not as a performance, as an anchor, a way of telling yourself, I heard this. Something in me recognized it. I am not moving past it unconsciously. Now breathe for a moment. Let the shoulders soften. Feel the weight of your body against whatever is holding you. Notice the room. Notice the sound. Notice the breath moving in and out. And notice that there is something in you that can notice all of it. The thoughts are moving. The emotions are shifting. But the awareness that observes them is steady. Feel that steadiness. You do not need to manufacture anything. Just let the witness notice that it is here. This is not a technique. This is a recognition. You are not only the story. You are also the one who can read the story and decide whether to turn the page. Now we move to the second layer. And this one goes deeper. Most people do not only observe the world through their wounds, they observe themselves through their wounds. They look at their own potential through the lens of every time something did not work. They look at their own future through a version of themselves that was shaped in the most difficult chapters of the past. And then they wonder why the future feels small. It is not small. The future is not small. The lens is, not because the person is limited, but because the identity being used to observe the future was built inside a limited set of experiences. And that identity, unless consciously examined, will continue to decide in advance what is available, what is safe, and who is allowed to receive it. You have been observing the present through your old identity. That is the second layer. Imagine walking into a new room, and before you look at what is actually there, you have already arranged the furniture from your last apartment inside it. You have put the old damage on the walls. You have organized the new space entirely according to the old template. And then you wonder why the new room feels exactly like the last one. This is what the mind does, not out of malice, out of efficiency. The fastest way to know what something is to match it to something already seen. So it reaches for the old map. And the old map, however useful it once was, may be sending you into the wrong territory now. Someone who was told their ambition was dangerous will observe every new opportunity through that map, finding reasons to stay small that feel like wisdom, but are actually old protection. Someone who learned that belonging required performance will enter every new room already calculating what they must become in order to be allowed to stay. The map is not the territory, and the old self is not the future. But you cannot walk away from the old map by pretending it does not exist. It must be seen clearly, without judgment, witnessed by something larger than it. And you have something larger. You have the observer, the part of you that can look at the old identity and say, I see you, I understand why you developed, I know what you were trying to protect, and I am no longer required to see everything through your lens. That moment, when the old identity is seen clearly enough that it begins to lose its automatic authority, is one of the most quietly powerful moments available to a human being. It does not look dramatic from the outside. Inside, it can feel like a door opening that you did not know existed. Ask yourself honestly how much of your daily life is being lived from that old observation. How many decisions carry the fingerprints of a self shaped in scarcity, in the belief that you had to earn your place, hide your real self? or stay small to avoid a punishment that was threatened long ago in ways that were not fair. Not as criticism, as an honest question. Because the degree to which the old observation is still running is the degree to which your future is being decided before you even arrive in it. Comment the one word that names the lens you are most ready to set down. Write it. The act of naming it is already an act of witnessing it from something larger. Not everyone reaches this point in a message like this. The ones who do are not luckier. They are simply more honest with themselves than most people are willing to be. That honesty is not comfortable, but it is the specific quality that separates the ones who keep repeating from the ones who begin to transform. Now, a transition that matters. Everything until now has been preparation. The third layer is different, and it cannot be explained from outside. It can only be recognized from within. This is the third layer, the moment awareness turns toward itself. When you are identified with the old self, you are inside the observation. Every thought feels like your thought. Every fear feels like your truth. Every wound feels like your definition. There is no space between what you experience and who you are. But when awareness begins to observe the observer, something remarkable happens. The identity becomes an object of observation, rather than the subject doing the observing. And anything that can be observed is not the totality of what is doing. The observing you can observe your fear, which means you are not only the fear, you can observe your self-doubt. Which means you are not only the doubt, you can observe the voice that says, "This is not for me." Which means you are not only that voice. This is the moment the old self loses authority. Not because it is destroyed, but because it has been seen. And something seen clearly enough for what it is can no longer pretend to be the only thing that exists. You are not the character alone. You are also the consciousness through which the character is being observed. And that consciousness is not trapped inside the character's story. It can witness the story. And anything that can be witnessed can be related to differently. You can observe the old self without becoming it. That is the third transformation. Feel what that means. You are chosen not by anything outside of you. You are chosen by your willingness to become conscious. You are chosen every time you return to awareness, when the old self invites you to fall asleep again. In a world where almost everything is designed to keep you reactive, the simple act of pausing and observing from a deeper place is one of the most radical things a human being can do. Now, let this land through something specific. When an opportunity appears that is larger than what the old self believed was available to you, you do not immediately generate the list of reasons it will not work. You pause. You observe the fear as fear rather than as prophecy, and you make the choice from the inner position of the observer rather than from the wound. When someone offers you love without a contract attached, you do not hold them accountable for something that happened before they arrived. You breathe. You receive. You allow the present moment to be genuinely different from the past. When a door closes, you do not automatically translate that into confirmation of your worst belief about yourself. You sit with the disappointment, you feel it fully, and then you observe it from the one in you that can see disappointment without calling it destiny. And here is something most teachings quietly leave out. When you begin observing from this deeper place, people around you begin responding differently, not because they suddenly changed, but because you are no longer entering every room expecting the old outcome. Some interactions that once felt loaded become lighter. Some spaces that once felt threatening become simply spaces. Not because the world rearranged itself, but because the one meeting the world is no longer the same. This is not spiritual bypassing. The pain is real. the fear is real. Conscious observation does not make those things disappear. It changes your relationship with them. And your relationship with what happens is the invisible architecture of your life. Share this with someone who is still looking at their future through the wound that shaped their past. Someone who keeps arriving at the edge of something and pulling back. Someone who needs a mirror, not a lecture, a doorway, not a promise. If you want to continue this practice, subscribe, not as a casual click, but as a signal to yourself that you are willing to keep returning to awareness when the old self asks you to fall asleep again. Because awakening is not a single moment, it is a relationship with reality practiced again and again. In the next video, we go deeper into what becomes available after the observer awakens. What happens when attention becomes choice? Choice becomes identity, and identity begins to reorganize the future you are available to perceive. Now, take a breath that is not about getting somewhere. Let it be a breath that simply arrives. Let the body settle, and in that quiet, notice the awareness present in the quiet. It is not anxious, it is not judging, it is simply here. This is what you return to. This is the ground beneath all the movement. The old self was not your enemy. It learned what it learned in order to keep you safe. It deserves compassion, not contempt. But it has been governing your observation long enough. It has been deciding what is possible, who you are, and what you deserve, using information from a time that is no longer now. The past does not get the final word about your future, not because the past did not matter, but because the one observing it right now is no longer the one who lived it. You are the awareness that can look at that younger self with clarity and say, that was then. The lens of that time does not have to be the lens of this one. The next chapter of your life will not be observed from the same identity that shaped the last one. Now you walk through the doorway, not someday, not after one more confirmation that you are ready, now, in the next ordinary moment, when the old self tries to speak before the observer has had a chance to breathe. In that pause, the observer is already present. In that breath, something is already free. Walk through it.